Hello and welcome to the Wonkette Weekend Live Chat. We are, yes, 3 minutes late. I'm very, very sorry. I am Robin, and joining me today is the lovely and talented Jamie Lynn Crofts, who is filling in for Stephen.
Good to see everyone.
Yay!
By everyone, I mean Robin.
Yes, yes. I represent everyone on some, I don't know. I'm like spiritual level or something. I don't know. I'm not really wooey, so I'm very bad at like being quick about that kind of thing. So yay, we have the Senate.
We do. Oh my God. It happened.
I know.
Before Georgia, even. Georgia is still important, everyone. Don't slack off.
Yes. No, do not do the whole, I said it in my post today. I'm like, do not do the we don't need Georgia thing. We still need Georgia badly.
We do, because like imagine Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema having less power than they do right now. That's
yeah. Yeah, that will be just wonderful. We can knock out one of them with Warnock's vote, and then, we can literally knock out I'm kidding. No, we would not do that.
But the fact that they both have to, like, right now, either one of them can cause problems by themselves in the Senate, and like both need to be causing trouble about the same bill at the same time would definitely change things for the better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Plus, I mean, it's just nice to not have it will be very nice to not have Herschel Walker in the Senate.
And also, just like with the structure of the Senate, like all of the committees, they have to go through like a tie-breaking thing currently because it's 50-50, so all the committees are 50-50, and like it would just greatly speed things up, which is really important for the Senate, regardless of what happens with the House, because of judicial nominations.
Yes. Because they're going to be able to, if we get Warnock, we're just going to be able to put judges through way quicker. And judges are such a huge thing. Oh my God. I was actually a little bit worried when I voted here because we had like 61 judges on the ballot, and I was the only person taking a really long time because I had like my whole thing from like Injustice Watch.
Chicago Bar Association does a good one for the judges there too.
Yeah. Like
one, like I'm the only person who, even when it's just a retention election that the judge is gonna win. Nope.
Oh no, these were all retention ones for the most part. And so I had my whole list. I'm like, people aren't taking long enough. I'm suspicious. Because man, judges are so important.
So important. And we're about to have a really important election here in Wisconsin in April about judges.
Yes, would you like to talk about that a little bit?
I would. So here in Wisconsin, we are the most gerrymandered state in the country. And part of the reason for that is that our state Supreme Court said last year that they weren't going to care about partisan gerrymandering. That vote, like many of the votes in our state Supreme Court right now, was decided by one vote. Well, one of the conservatives on the court is retiring, and the Supreme Court election that we have in Wisconsin in April will determine the balance of the court going forward. If we had had that one seat difference last year, Wisconsin might actually be a democracy right now.
Yeah. Judges, super freaking important. The other exciting thing about this election, obviously, were the many, many ballot initiatives. Okay, 6 ballot initiatives that voted for abortion. Or at least voted to not outlaw abortion. So that was also really quite amazing.
And like, let's just take a moment to recognize the fact that abortion outperformed both political parties.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter where you are, people love abortion.
Yep, we've been telling you this for a really long time, and everyone was like, no, it's a fringe issue. It's a women's, blah, blah, blah. Those crazy feminists. Guess what? It's just as popular as we told you it was.
Because cis men also like to have sex.
True.
That is a thing about them. They enjoy that and probably don't want to have children against their will, like unless they're planning for it. because no one does really, like,
Just as
unless you're like, somehow super okay and you're just like, oh, it would be like a, you know, nice bonus, but I don't care either way. Then that's fine if it's a surprise for you, but most people don't want a surprise baby.
Yep. And certainly don't want to be forced into one against the will of both parents.
Yeah. No, not so much. The funny thing is, I will tell you, up until all this shit, I actually believed very much in paper abortions. It was probably like the one thing that I agreed with like stupid MRA people on, because I really do not think that anyone should ever be forced to take care of a baby they don't want. I mean, that they shouldn't be able to do it like when the kid is 3, they've been taking care of them, but within the same amount of time. As long as, however, as long as, we don't have that right, they shouldn't have it either.
Oh yeah, and I'm frankly like full on like, you know what, if we're going to force people to remain pregnant against their will, then yeah, let child support should start during pregnancy.
Yeah. Because it's really expensive to be pregnant in this country.
Really expensive.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I swear to God, like, they only started the crime thing, the like, oh, this election is going to be about crime. People care about crime as soon as Roe dropped, like, as soon as they overturned Roe. And that's when they started with this. And for some reason, I felt like I was like one of the only people pointing out, like, you realize they're literally just saying this because they're afraid they're going to lose because of Roe, right? And people were like, no, there's definitely crime. People are concerned about crime. Like,
well, my favorite was like, was seeing people freaking out about the fact that like in Pennsylvania, voters who said that crime was their top issue voted more frequently for like Fetterman in the Senate election than they did Oz. And like everyone's like, oh my God, how could that possibly happen? Because like everyone has so thoroughly bought into this narrative that like caring about crime means you want to send everyone to prison.
Yeah. Which like is actually not a very good way of tackling crime.
No.
And the majority of Americans actually do very much support diversion programs over sending people to prison. I also do think that, no one looks at Dr. Oz and says, now that guy, that guy is going to stop all the crime. Like, I just, like, he's too slippery, like.
Yeah, that is also a very good but like also so is the point that like progressive policies work to combat crime. Like you said, diversion is extremely popular. It's also extremely effective.
Yes.
And in places like Pennsylvania, like they've actually gotten to see from Larry Krasner in Philadelphia, like what the good things that can happen when you have progressive policies in the criminal justice system. Things like letting people out of prison for crimes they didn't commit, which again, most people don't think that we should keep people in prison for crimes they didn't commit.
They really don't. I mean, even in freaking Nebraska, there are Republicans who are, saying, hey, what if we didn't execute Richard Glossop, an extremely obviously innocent human person? Like.
Yep. But just listen to Scalia. There is no right to not be murdered by the state if you are.
It's true. And police have no obligation to protect you. So,
everything's fine.
Yes, everything's fine. But I don't know. I think the referendums in general, or the ballot issues, very much proved that people really actually like left-wing policies.
Yep. And things, and oh God, my cats are losing their minds. Anyway, that's Danny. I completely lost my thread.
No, I'm just saying, like, it definitely shows that, like, people in general like left-wing policies.
Yes, and these things, and like, so many of these things have been portrayed as left-wing policies because that's who's been really pushing them, but like these ballot measures are showing are just popular policies.
Yeah.
And like that's also how you get decent lawmakers and whatnot going forward. Like in Michigan, for example, I wrote about this week. I wrote about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio, three, very different outcomes in three different Midwestern states, in large part at the state house level, because Michigan really got rid of gerrymandering.
Yeah.
And that passed both in Michigan and Ohio, which granted it didn't actually take effect in Ohio, but both and Ohio overwhelmingly voted it in through a ballot measure, their bans on gerrymandering.
And that is important. And people were saying like, oh, well, I guess it's time to write off Ohio forever. And I'm like, no, it's probably not. Like, I don't think it is time to do that ever. Like,
right. I mean, that's the thing.
They got Sherrod Brown. Like, it's gonna be okay. Writing people off forever is bad anyway.
Right. And it does, and it just helps the other side when you give up too. Like, even if you're looking at it from a purely like political, self-interested lens, like it hurts your cause when you give up on things like entire states or entire regions of the country.
Yeah, because then people say like, oh, I guess they totally don't care about us anyway, so screw them. Like,
yep.
It's just bad optics, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to like super fund every single election, but you should act as if every area does matter, I think.
Yep. And that was another thing Fetterman did really well, is he was like, I'm going to go to rural Pennsylvania and talk to people and explain why I believe the things I believe. And like, that's so important. And that type of thing really does change hearts and minds, which is what you need to do when you're trying to sway voters.
Yes. Instead of just being like, well, if we don't say anything about our policies, voters will assume that we're, for the policies they like, which they do for Republicans and they don't do for Democrats. Like, I will tell you, I look at all these, crazy ass forums all the time, and there are so many people in there regularly attributing very like left-wing stances to Republicans, or saying, I would support this if it was Republicans doing it. I just don't like Democrats as people. So that's like...
Yep. Yeah, there are so many things that are like overly whelmingly popular if you just talk about it as an issue. Like the fact that if you start getting into things like, Medicare for all and describing it that way, you get the polarization because it's become that partisan issue. But if you talk to people about what they think health insurance should be, the people agree for the most part on what health insurance should be.
Yeah, they just don't like, that is the problem. I don't know how to solve that other than just like do a ton of ballot initiatives. That's how we're going to have to do things from now on. Like, guess what? You actually like our policies, even if, you hate us as people for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, and that's another, I have to keep bringing up Wisconsin where I live because there's just so much on here. But like, that's another thing, another way we're really screwed politically in Wisconsin is that we don't really have the ability to have ballot measures. Things can only go to the people here for a constitutional amendment, and to get it on the ballot for a constitutional amendment, it has to pass 2 consecutive legislative sessions. And that's not even 2 consecutive years, because our sessions are 2 years long to go along with the election. So we're about to start a new session in 2022. If this is not going to happen, but if they did in 2022 pass the constitutional amendment, they would still then in either 2024 or 2025 have to pass the identical bill through the legislature before it even got to the people. And as I mentioned, we have the most gerrymandered state legislature.
Yeah.
So there's no chance of anything good actually making it down to the people, which is another reason.
And the thing is, like, there actually is like a really like awesome like history of labor organizing and left-wing stuff in Wisconsin. Like, it was not always this particular way.
In Milwaukee, we had socialist mayors in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Milwaukee's awesome. I love Milwaukee. No, and part of the problem is that I feel like a lot of people who are like not necessarily living in these areas aren't paying attention to the fact that they're super gerrymandered, and they're like, well, those people are this particular way, which is like, it's always the people who have definitely never been to the Midwest being like, let me tell you what people in the Midwest are like, it's not, it's really not what they think.
I can't tell you how many rich people from the East Coast who I went to law school with, like, want to tell me things about, like, the real American from small town America. And I'm like, you grew up in a major city on the East Coast. I grew up in the small town Midwest.
I mean, I grew up in Rochester, and Providence, like Rhode Island area before that, but in the Providence metropolitan area, they called it, but a very small town. But like, man, people who have never been to an industrial city in their life are like, let me tell you, those people they don't care about NAFTA still. And like, they totally care about NAFTA. They're still very pissed off about it. It ruined the whole city, like, for a very long time. It's just this, idea they have. And the thing that always kills me is that, they go to these diners and they're like, yep, this is where we're finding normal people who live in this town. And, as someone who has been a diner waitress, absolutely not.
And despite how this election went, I'm not yet seeing any New York Times reporters in, my local gay bar talking to people about why they vote the way they do.
No, they only go, like, they're like, yes, diners. I'm like, the first time I ever heard about lizard people is like when I was working at a diner, okay? The morning crowd at a diner is just like every crazy person who, like, their family does not want to talk to them. I'm not even, like, it is a thing. And I say this as a diner person who prefers, like, diners over fancy restaurants as a rule.
Yeah. Yep. No, like, the woman who, when I worked at Borders, who told me that I was going to hell because I had a lip ring, I feel like she probably is an early morning diner.
Oh my God, they're like, also people who really like to talk to you about why they don't tip.
Odd. What is wrong with people?
I don't know, but the guy really, like, I sort of like, people will like want a sensitive ear for these things, and I'm like, really, you realize that you're talking to me, the person who was getting paid like $2.15 an hour, I think, at that point. Like,
oh geez, oh, good times.
Yes. So yeah, no, maybe if you actually want to know what people are like, don't go to a diner, because people at diners are freaking weird. Like,
I would really love to see, like, the New York Times people who are like, who are, writing from the diner in rural Ohio. I want to see them at my hipster.
Yes, those people were the worst. They put fake dollar bills.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Like, there was these fake dollar bills with tracks. Jesus tracks. They were like, the best tip we can give you is to love Jesus.
Why would you think that would make someone want to be a part of your religion?
I don't know. And they always did it with, like, no tip also. Like,
I just can't imagine being like, thinking like something I really believe in and care about, and being like, you know what? The way for me to win over hearts and minds is to go and eat out and stiff the waitress.
Yeah, and like trick them.
Trick them into thinking.
No, it always be like a $20 bill. Like, oh, you think you got a really good tip? Ha ha. That's like, you've been like tricked by Jesus. Google it. It's a whole thing. No, so, like, oh man, Sunday crowds are the worst. There weren't too many at the place that I worked at because it was like across the street from a mall, but it was actually a Mel's Diner.
Yeah, you don't want one like across the street from the Baptist church.
Yeah, no, but we got them. Yeah, it's like that's how they're like, this is gonna bring people to Jesus, fucking with waitresses.
Yeah, no, like that is like, I would definitely not be like go to a bar and be like, you know what, I really need to convince this bartender to be pro-choice. So
Yeah.
I refused to tip them, trick them into thinking that I did. And then like, what?
Yeah. Think of all the $20 bills you'll lose while paying child support.
Jeez. God.
No, people are horrible.
People are, but hey, at least enough good people got out to vote to save a few things.
Yes.
It's kind of insane. Like, I am sitting here in a 50-50 state, like, absolutely giddy about the fact that we managed to just barely avoid a double Republican supermajority in the legislature.
I'm thrilled. I'm mostly like, I think it's like it's not just that we, prevented that, is that we also prevented them from having their big red wave that they thought was going to happen.
Yes, and it led to so many great period jokes.
Yes. Like, and also for real, why would you not go with Crimson Tide?
Right?
Like,
but like the fact that the same people who are predicting that red wave, like, just imagining how uncomfortable they all felt in all of the period jokes, like, there's just a real beauty to that combination to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think that we get as excited as they do about like people we don't like being upset, because that's pretty much their whole like raison d'etre.
Yeah.
But it is enjoyable. They're absolutely, the thing that I'm really enjoying right now is that like a lot of these people are like, they're blaming Trump.
Yes. Oh, the upcoming Civil War.
Yeah.
Republican Civil War is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Candace Owens's video about how Trump was rude to her one time. And it was very upsetting because he's never been rude to anyone before. And now he's being rude to people like her. And she's not sure that he can be a leader anymore.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And like, also, I've been really enjoying like clicking on the people whose stuff I don't normally click on, just to watch the infighting and the replies, like the DeSantis people versus
it's very satisfying. And the thing is, because it's great because they were so very like unified behind Trump and like their whole general plan to upset us. And now they're definitely like Republicans in disarray, or
yep,
something more alliterative. But
Republicans. I'm gonna come up with something after.
Yes, I had something at one point and now I forget it. But I love it. They're all like, "Oh, maybe we're blaming Trump for this. We don't know."
It's great. It's great.
Like, yes, it's all his fault. Yep. Probably. It probably is. Like, he let everyone believe that like any crazy ass person can become president or like, run for office. And yes, that is true in certain places, but it's not always going to be universally true. And thank goodness we beat two crazy ass QAnon election deniers yesterday for Secretary of State. Like,
I saw someone say today, although I'm not sure if Wisconsin has actually been called yet. But I saw someone say that actually, as of the calls like yesterday, that all of the people running to be the top election official in a state who were election deniers lost.
Yeah.
That would make sense no matter what happens in Wisconsin, because the Secretary of State is actually not really an election official in Wisconsin. So that's probably why they're leaving Wisconsin out there.
So yeah, I think I feel like things are definitely, moving in a positive direction, even if, we did not get the even if we did not get the House still.
Like, I'm not looking forward to what, anything that will happen under a Republican House, except for the speaker fight, which I think could be pretty entertaining.
Oh God, the people who are like, Liz Cheney could be the speaker. I'm like, no, like, she's not actually like good, right? Like,
Yeah. Although my favorite thing that I saw was this was just like a Twitter rando, but it was so funny that I loved it so much, saying that actually they should bring Trump in as speaker, since the speaker doesn't technically need to be a member of.
oh, I'm sure that they're thinking about. Well, remember they did that with Paul Ryan. Yeah, that I'm sure he would do a swell job at that. Who knows? I think they're just gonna like keep, you know, self-destructing, and that will be very exciting. Yeah, I took my nails off, so yes, I have normal human nails. It's very sad. No, they'll be back soon. It's so weird to type. I don't like the tops of my. It feels so weird to do anything.
Oh, I'll bet if you're so used to having fake ones on, it's like,
yeah,
I've had fake ones once, and I imagine how you feel now is how I felt when I had the fake nails on.
yeah, and I've only done it for like a year, but yeah. So how have you been enjoying the new Elon Musk Twitter?
My God, like I can't look away. I mean, it's the train wreck you can't look away from.
No.
I think my personal favorite things have been like the fucking up of the stocks of Eli Lilly.
Oh yes.
Martin.
That is like, honestly, it's truly the most delightful part of this. It's just like, yes, this week has been all about just destroying billionaires. Like him, whoever is in charge of Eli Lilly and Lockheed Martin, they're losing billions of dollars, or the companies are losing billions of dollars. Crypto person, and I don't understand how any of that works, and I'm really like, someone, yeah. He got in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I saw someone tweeting that, like, if Jonah Hill isn't already on the phone with Aaron Sorkin's people about playing that guy, that it's a missed opportunity. And I was like, I would watch the fuck out of that. Because, yeah, I've read a bunch of articles, and I still feel like I only understand bits and pieces.
I will never understand cryptocurrency. I won't. It's just like, we're going to assign a value to a thing, and then we're going to do stuff with computers. I don't understand what it is or what's happening. I'm not putting any of my money in it because it's clearly imaginary.
Yep.
It's really.
Yep. Good times. But no, and like, yeah, it has been a great week for billionaires, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. It really like
Amazon had a bunch.
Yes, they had like $1 trillion losses. Really, it's been a good week for eating the rich as a people. Just a bad week for them. You know, Republicans lost the Senate. They're probably going to get taxed even now. Like, it's really not a good week to be a super rich person, I guess. And we'd feel really badly about that, except for how we don't.
Yep. And also, like, there's something that just like really entertains me about when like shit posters on the internet fuck with the stock market.
Yeah, I know.
It just there's just a beauty to that I appreciate.
It's very low. Like, and then the thing is, like, you know, there are all these people who like do not pay any attention at all to like social media or anything, and they're just like, what is happening? Just,
can you imagine like what like some like random boomer stock people when the GameStop stuff started happening, like, it must have been beautiful to be like a fly in the room when that happened.
I don't know. I mean, my dad doesn't have stock in anything, but I was like, hey, just so you know, this is what's happening in the world of those stocks. Like, just see, because like, you know, they don't know. And then I don't know if, like, you know, I don't really know a lot about stocks is what I'm going to say right now. No idea. But I
kind of think of it as fake like cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Like, I literally had to call my dad and be like, explain to me, does this mean that people are like actually selling their stock because of the Twitter thing? And he's like, yes, that is what that means. And I was like, bananas, but also fantastic.
Yep.
Because they should be giving insulin out for free. It's disgusting. Like, yeah.
And it's like we all know that this shouldn't be happening. Like, Elon Musk is a crazy person. Like, we're getting a live demonstration of the fact that, like, no, people aren't smart just because they're billionaires. But also it's just like, and like, it could easily happen to a good company, but like, if we're talking about Eli Lilly and Lockheed Martin, it's just,
I'm not that worried about, like, it was like, they're just pretty objectively evil. Like,
happened to a more deserving company.
And then they had to do the apology. Like, sorry you thought that we made insulin free, because we didn't. It's still going to be $400 a month.
Yep. Good time.
Yeah, and then what's it called? Musk trying to clap back at Bernie Sanders with, like, it's not like the original insulin is actually like way less expensive, and everyone, like, he got the actual like fact check on his tweet being like, actually it is $10 in every other country in the world. Like,
oh, and I saw this morning him being a dick to who was it? Ed Markey, who was, because he has a verified impersonator, and it's like, of all the politicians to be a huge dickhead to, like, really, Markey?
I know, I love Ed Markey. Like,
he just seems like such a sweet old man.
Sorry, that's my impression of, like, everyone. That's what everyone sounds like in my head, okay?
I apparently have a voice I make when I'm imitating Republicans, but I can't actually do it on command. It's just like when I'm doing an imitation.
Yeah, no, I don't think I can either. Like, I feel like everyone I do is just like, I'm a big jerk. I'm a terrible person. I'm going to hell.
Oh, can I tell you my favorite really weird, bizarre story related to this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, one of the I tweeted about this also. So, one of the sanest incoming members of the West Virginia State Senate has operated a secret human cloning lab, complete with, like, mad scientists who were members of a cult.
And like, yet the QAnon people keep coming for us.
And you know that, like, he truly is. So he apparently changed parties. He was running for things. His name is Mark Hunt. Do not name your child something.
Yeah, no.
If your last name is Hunt, pro tip. But his name is Mark Hunt. He's changed parties and is a Republican now, apparently. But he was a former Democratic legislator. When I lived in West Virginia, he always ran as a Democrat. I guess he finally realized he was never going to win again unless he changed parties. But truly, he's going to be one of the saner members of the Senate come next term. And, like, there are 4 Democratic members of the West Virginia Senate total now. And so
I still think eventually West Virginia can be saved. And I just, because I believe in every place. Like, I don't, you know.
I know so many wonderful, amazing, incredible people there, and truly, like, no one deserves what they're going to get. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But maybe there'll be some interesting innovations in cloning in West Virginia.
I mean, I wouldn't turn down having a clone personally. I'm freaked out by twins, but I was always jealous of, like, how they got to switch classes on April Fool's Day.
You know, I like the Sweet Valley twins.
Yes.
And so I always, like, really wanted a twin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Although, I mean, when I actually, like, you know, see them in person, I'm like, this is crazy. But but yeah, it did seem like it would be
when, like, identical twins marry identical twins.
Yeah. Oh, that's so weird. Yeah.
And it happens not infrequently, I feel like. It's
Yeah,
weird.
no, I've seen those Daily Mail articles as well. It's totally the kind of thing that ends up in the Daily Mail. Um, I don't know. If I had a clone, it'd be great. I would never be bored.
One of my friends was like, yeah, go ahead and clone me. I'm unhealthy. I'll need the organs eventually.
Didn't need to fucking star it. Damn it. How do I make it go away? Hide current comment. Jesus.
Emphasize the things you're trying to delete. There was one about your boobs once that was
I know. God, people are terrible and I hate them. And I also hate my giant hands because I'm doing this on my phone. It's not fair. They say if your hand is the size of your face. Sorry, I tend to get a little distracted when that kind of shit happens. So
I know, and then like I'm so ADHD brain that I'm off in the middle.
Yeah. Now we've got two people with the ADHD.
No, that's on track.
I know Steven's so good at staying on topic.
He is. He's always bringing us back around to like what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm not even sure what we were supposed to be talking about.
I know. It's been 2 weeks without him, and I'm like, this is a bummer. Like, let's not do this again. Not just like in general at work. Someone has a question about Bernadette Banner, and I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Oh, it had to do with your dressmakers. They wanted to know if your dressmakers thing has. Okay, I don't understand what Bernadette. No one knows what Bernadette Banner is. I don't know what it is. I like Bernadette Peters. It has to do with your dressmakers mannequin.
Well, I'm not sure, but I do have that.
Yeah. I'm like, where was it? Oh, okay. Yes.
Oh, no, I don't think I am, but now I'm going to be looking into Bernadette Banner. So
yeah. And again, I love Bernadette Peters.
Yeah, I actually got that. I'm very bad at sewing, but I attempt some sewing sometimes. But I use it more for knitting, and like sometimes I sell vintage clothes on eBay and Etsy, which I know you guys all wanted to know about me.
Yes. I mean, I actually used to manage a vintage clothing store, so it's very interesting to me, but perhaps not other people. Although actually everyone did not everyone, a certain amount of people enjoyed my weirdly long article about the history of Dior and why it is not a feminist company.
Nice. Oh gosh, there should be those for so many high fashion companies.
Oh yeah, but no, it was a while back, and someone in Vanity Fair was like wrote something about how Dior had always been a feminist company. I'm like, they literally just got like their first female head of design, or and she's not very good, but
the high heels were a COVID death that I'm pretty proud of. Like no one wears heels anymore, and that makes me happy. Do you wear heels still?
It's weird. I stopped for a really long time, and then because of COVID, I kind of started again because every time I wanted to go out, I wanted to be fancy.
Oh, interesting. I bought a pair of wedges and wore them to a gala not that long ago, but like wedges are not that bad, so I was fine. But yeah, I realized like I have all of these pairs of heels that I just never wear anymore. I should probably get rid of those. Again, more exciting conversation.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about fashion. No, I mean, my mom was always like, no one should ever wear heels. They are a medieval torture device. And, and the only, whatever. She just really hated high heels and was like, how are you wearing those? You're going to ruin your feet. And for what?
Taller because I'm short. But
I'm 5'8 3/4, but I like, honestly, and this is actually going to something political. I like pissing men off.
Yeah.
I love it when, like, because men will legitimately get, like, huffy at me for wearing heels because then I'm taller than they are. And then I know that they're an insecure asshole. Like, that's a wonderful way of, you know,
Yep. That way, if I were taller, I probably would want to wear heels more for that reason.
yeah.
So like, yeah. So hi everyone. If I haven't outed myself to you yet, I'm Jamie and I'm bisexual. And I really, in both, men, women, whatever, I don't really care if they're tall, short, or whatever.
Yeah, no, me neither. I'm Italian. All the men are, like, you don't care. All the men in our people are short.
Yeah, but I dated a guy who he was like just barely taller than me, and he hated it when I wore heels because I was taller than him, and it was just like, that sounds like a you problem and not a me problem because
it really is. But it's a very good way of, just weeding out terrible people who are going to be jerks, I have found.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's funny, like I said, and this was still true to an extent. Like I really enjoyed about like when everyone was wearing masks all the time, that like no one ever randomly told me to smile. But you know what? Now that a couple of people have, I'm remembering that I also really enjoy telling those people to go fuck themselves.
I know, that is also very fun.
And when I say
I'm probably too smiley. Like, I actually worry about that. Like, I smile at everyone.
I have like a nervous tick for me that I smile and like giggle if I'm uncomfortable. This is how we socialize women.
Yes. I'm obnoxiously cheerful. No, I am. I'm oddly cheerful for like, as like, I'm into super dark shit and I cover really depressing things all the time, but I am perky as fuck.
Same.
Yeah.
It's funny, like people who I like know on the internet before I know them in real life, especially if I know them through like political stuff. Like when I meet them, they're like, wow, you're so like nice and cheery.
People are always surprised to find out that I'm nice.
I'm fun in person too. Like you may not guess it, but I'm fun and nice. If you met me at a bar, we could chill and have fun. Yes, I do. But I'm still cool now.
Yeah.
Not cool.
I'm gonna post this later on something. I still have to like make the video. But I actually got a video. Do you remember they had that Make Women Great Again conference?
Yes.
So they've put video up.
Oh God. Is it everything I imagined?
There's this girl who is literally like she's doing like her TED talk. And she's like, find a man who makes you feel fat and ugly. And I hate to use the term, like, I don't like the way that's literally what she said. I think it is like crappy to use the word fat in like a, shitty sense. But because that way you'll follow him around and be like, can I get you a sandwich? What can I do? You make me feel horrible about myself. And I'm like, this is like,
wow.
and I'm like, why? Why is that, Oh, it was also like her advice for men, like, make the woman you're with feel horrible and insecure, and she'll cater to your every need. Or she'll, knock you out.
Jesus. And like, again, like, even if you were just like really, really desperate to get married, like, you are looking for someone intentionally who's going to make you miserable for the rest of your life.
Like they're such odd, like I feel like there's this thing where they're like so reactionary that they're like, what is the most horrible thing I can think of to say out loud? And that's just what they're going with.
Yep. Yep. That's how I feel like that's how a lot of the like anti-choice people are too. It's just like, what is the worst possible thing I can
Yeah. I mean, well, a lot of men after this election, and women, sorry, also, were like, let's blame single women. That's whose fault this is that Republicans lost the election.
I saw that, and who was it? One of the Fox people was like, "So just get married, just marry these."
Yeah, yeah. It's like we're you
I
can't
died.
get delayed. Like every few months, there's like a thing like Republicans can't get any attention on dating services. And now it's like, oh yeah, they're going to propose to us. I mean,
Yeah, I would rather die than marry someone who proposed because Jesse Waters told him to.
so that there can be more Republicans in office. Oh yeah, everyone's going to sign right up for that. I would just like to address this very important comment right here from our fellow Wonkette writer, Michael. I actually love my Uggs, and I wear ballet slippers all the time. They are great and very comfortable. I'm like, and yes, everyone should wear what makes them happy.
Yes.
And yes, like my understand it. I'm not mean about how other people make pasta unless they put olive oil in the water, because then the sauce doesn't cling to their pasta. That's all. Like, my shoes right now are really exciting. They're like bunny slippers.
Those are adorable. I have some fun sequin kitty slippers, but those actually live at work under my desk there. So when I get there in my combat boots, I can just change into my
Yeah. I have amazing giant unicorn slippers that I also love. I'm very into. Well, actually, during the pandemic is also when I got very into like excessive, like slippers and like houseware. Houseware, is that what it was like? Like I was just so bored. I'm like, yes, insane slippers is where I'm going with this.
I like it. That's a good one. I use more slip. Now I'm like, I want more slippers.
Yeah, like I got like my panda onesie that I wear like a normal, like, you know, just around the house.
Nice. I have a bunch of shit that I knitted. Like I've given
Oh,
so much stuff that I've knit and crochet away, like both over the years and recently. And still, like, I got out my thing just to get out like my hats and scarves because it's starting to get cold out. And I'm like, how is this so huge? Like, how do I still have so many things when I've given?
I have so much yarn right now. I need to like. I'm not allowed to buy any more yarn until I use the yarn I have. So it's just going to be a lot of granny squares.
I'm pretty much at that point too, trying not to buy any. Although I just came up with a good lettering to spell out the word vote. If you want me to send it your way.
Oh, that's so cute! Yay!
Yeah, I made it as a little headband, but I blocked out the lettering because it took me a long time to come up with a font that I really liked.
Oh man, I cannot. You are fancier than I am. RE yarn hearts.
I almost always like will take someone else's pattern and like I might tweak it a little bit, but I almost always start with someone else's pattern. But I couldn't find anyone who had made just like I found like beanies that said vote, and I found sweaters that said vote, but I couldn't find just a very simple headband. And so I was like, I was determined, and I did it. And I wish that I knew where it was, and I could show you right now.
I make, honestly, I end up making a lot of berets because that's my preferred, like berets and cloches are my preferred things. Also tons of scarves because although I'm not allowed to, I think I need to put the kibosh on my scarf problem because I don't have anywhere left to put my scarves. Like until I have the Stevie Nicks temperature controlled cape room.
Yeah, I really need some sort of.
Yes. Actually, fashion wise, this is literally the only I wanted to wear something blue because of voting and also our check marks. But this is the only two blue things I own are this and a t-shirt that says basically a detective that I got from CrimeCon.
Nice. I actually almost wore my blue.
Now problematic, but what?
I was thinking blue too, and I was going to wear my blue NASA hoodie, and then I threw this on at the last minute instead.
Yeah. Well, that's super cute. But yeah, I'm like, I got this at a true crime convention, and everyone's like, true crime, we can't do it anymore. I'm like, I'll just wait this one out because no one needs to know about, any time I spend with the ID channel.
What else is going on in the world?
I know. I'm literally trying to think. My brain has been fried completely with the Twitter and election drama.
I know. And like in addition to, you know, caring a lot about these types of things, like for my day job, I do election protection stuff as part of it. And so like I just like between caring about the results of the election and like working the entire 12 hours the polls were open on Tuesday.
Oh my God.
It's been a week.
You know, actually, one thing that I did not get to that I really did want to cover and just did not have time for at all was, did you see the thing in San Francisco about how it turned out that the cops in San Francisco were just slacking on the job on purpose in order to make Chesa Bowden look bad? I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. I should probably look that up. But yeah.
Yeah. Good times, good times. Well, no, and that was like, you know, right after, you know, I think it was after Ferguson actually, when like, all of the cops in you know, most of the bigger cities, like openly, like stopped doing their jobs and blamed it on the ACLU.
But you know, here's the only people in the world who can do that. Like, no one else gets to be like, the world hurt my feelings. I have to not do my job anymore. Like, you know, everyone hates lawyers. You still have to be a lawyer. Like, no, everyone doesn't hate you.
Oh no,
but like
they do.
There are some.
But I am a lawyer in recovery.
Yes, but like there are so many professions where people are like, I hate people with this particular profession, and they all have to continue doing their jobs. Like, you know.
Yeah, no. The criminal legal system is just broken on every single level in this country.
Yeah,
it truly is. You know, from like the police who are out on the streets to the U.S. Supreme Court. It's broken every level. And you know, like the system needs to be rebuilt, regardless of. And I feel like everyone should agree on that point, regardless of like which way they're coming at it. Like, who thinks that this current system is working? Does anyone?
It's very clearly not.
You know, we have different. There's a different legal system for the rich and the poor. There's a different criminal legal system if you're Black and you're white. Does anyone actually think that this is how a criminal legal system should?
Well, I mean, I think there are a lot of rich white people who are like, yes, this is perfect, works great for me. But
true.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
But they all lost all their Eli Lilly stock this week.
Elon Musk says everything's fine, guys.
Yeah, it's all working out just as planned.
Fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. And on that note, we're heading towards time and running out of shit to talk about. So thank you so much, Jamie, for hanging out today. And thank all of you for also hanging out with us, even though we didn't get to see your beautiful faces.
Yeah.
Yes. So, sorry. And the next Wonkette movie night is Booksmart. Thank you, Robin, for our movie night posts. People truly enjoy it. Thank you, Ziggy. All right. And we will see all of you later. Have a great Sunday. Bye.